Hello, Gali.
Hello, hello. We're back with another live.
Yes, we are back and I'm ready and I cannot wait. Let's start.
Me too. I'm ready. Yes. So, first of all, today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of life, but just a couple of quick setup things. We have a link that was sent out to people on newsletters of how to join. It might, we're not sure if it was ended up being the right one or not, but in the chat, you should see the correct link, or on our Facebook, you'll see that correct link. So if you want to share it with people that are struggling, feel free to give them the link to join, because there might be some people.
It's for sure the wrong link, and because it's actually inviting the people to the room as presenters, which is good.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's a step up in life.
Step up. Yes, exactly.
They get to join us, which, by the way, that reminds me, speaking of a step up, we would love to have some guests. So if you're interested, you can email me and we can work on having some of you as guests on the live stream.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, and we've got definitely quite a few people trying to log into through this other link.
Yeah, okay. Well, they'll definitely join us and figure out a way. And then I wanted to also say that we had another link that you had put up for how people can display their name. Do you have a way to do that? So basically, sometimes in the comment section, when you type to us, we can't see that it's your name unless you authorize it. So just go on your web browser and type in chat.restream.io/FB, and you'll see it will give us the ability to see your name. For example, Facebook user Hello Mayor and Gal, nice to see both of you on the same screen. And whoever said hello, we can't see who it is unless you go to that link there. So type that in and then we'll see you. But okay, hello. Sorry, go ahead.
It allows to Facebook to link to Restream and show your name. That's all.
Yeah, great. Pedro says hola. So hola, Pedro. And
Pedro.
Hello. And Bao Tran says hello. Awesome. Okay. So today, Queen Monica, there we go. Hello, Queen Monica.
Yes. Queen Monica, you need to go to this link to allow your name to be shown.
Yeah. Yes. And Ahmed, okay.
Ahmed as well. Go to the link, chat.restream.io/FB for Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's technical stuff.
Yes. All right, fantastic. So now I just want to make sure that this is all shared. One last technical thing. Okay. Perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, and if you guys want to take a moment and share this, share this so people can join.
Actually, start a watch group.
Yes, start a watch group.
Yeah. And do you see me on Instagram?
Instagram, let's see. Are you on Instagram?
And really start.
Yes, then we can. Oh, yeah, you are on Instagram indeed. Perfect.
Excellent. Good.
Okay, let's begin. So today's topic is basically around the idea of fundamentals of life. And what we're saying is, look, there are people that, they're either successful, they're not successful, they study advanced material, they study all kinds of material. But the idea is that there are these fundamental kind of pillars of understanding that are missing for people, which sounds good, but let's break it down and understand, what does that even really mean, that there's fundamentals missing? Because you see successful people. Are fundamentals missing for them? You know what I mean? So that's what I think the topic of today is.
Yeah. And you're frozen.
Oh, am I?
Now I can see you. Okay, good.
Okay, yes, well, there we go.
Yeah, the idea behind the fundamentals is that your fundamentals will define how high you will get.
Okay.
What blocks you always, if you're professional in life, in anything, is fundamentals. If you're not progressing, your fundamentals are out. It's true for dancing. If your fundamentals in dancing is out, you will not progress higher than what the fundamentals allow you. If your fundamentals is out in terms of your body, your body will not progress beyond that level. If your fundamentals is out about even just learning or life or electronics or study or children, you will not pass that ceiling, that glass ceiling. And the moment that you will improve your fundamentals, you will see that you will improve at the overall result. So the source of any kind of problems in life is a missing fundamental. There is some misunderstood fake reality about fundamentals. Fix that, and the rest will become automatic, because when the fundamental is in, you simply know. So, for example, the fundamental for a being is to know that he is a spiritual being, and not a body, and not a mind, and not a feeling, and not energy, but a spiritual being. And understanding what does it mean, your ability to really know what that fundamental mean, what is spirituality, what is spirit, etc., will define how much you will progress in any game that you create. This is one basic fundamental.
Right. Yeah, I got you. And that, yeah, totally. It makes 100% sense. I think that, first of all, I have questions, some that I can answer myself, but some that I also want to hear your viewpoint on. But so, first of all, I think that fundamental has the connotation of weak. It has the connotation of simple, sometimes, not for everyone, but I think it's the opposite. It's actually the most powerful and the base off of which the rest is built. It's probably the more powerful is the fundamental. I mean, how would you break it down?
It's basically what bring about fun. For as long as your fundamental is out, you will struggle.
Okay, interesting.
Because it's really what put your mental condition in a form when it's not interfering with you, but actually allowing you to put fun into things or enjoying the fun in things. So the fundamentals are everything. You will go to any professional and you will see that they spend the majority of their training on the fundamentals. So you can say 90% fundamentals, 10% advanced. That's the relationship. And you know that I have this thing that I say 99-1, which is the formula for success. Yes. 90% admin, 9% marketing, sales, etc., and 1% genius. Most of the people think that the genius is the number one. No, it's genius is only 1%. Marketing, sales, blah, 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 it's only 9%. The fundamental, building the machine, the basics are the most important thing, and you will not progress past that point. And because people don't understand that one thing, anything they do, they don't really progress. You'll take a good guitar player, you will see his fundamentals of music, his fundamentals, the basic of understandings are so high that the rest is obvious for him. But you take someone just learn how to play or just learn chords. Yes, he can play a song, but he will never become professional. It will be okay, maybe.
Right.
Less than okay.
Yeah, totally. I love that, and I like that. It's a good point. The fundamentals is the fun. Then it becomes play. Then it becomes a game. It's not the struggle and the effort. So I like that a lot. That's true. It's very, very true. So
and one technical thing, Gali, maybe we can ask everyone again, and maybe you can write in the chat also that people that using the link that we send is actually the wrong link, and that's why they're getting kicked out by me. They want to join. I like it.
Yes. But so yeah, basically, if you know of anyone that's struggling to join the live stream, there was a bad link sent out, which basically gave them access to be presenters and not guests on the show, on the live stream. So if you know of anyone that's WhatsApping, you can't figure out how to get in, just send them the link you're on so that they can join us. And that's the easy way. Okay, perfect. So let's just check the chat here. So Monica said, wow, fun. Monica said it's a VIP place. Exactly. This is a very exclusive live stream.
Exactly.
Punam said, wow. Shamaya said, powerful stuff. This is important for everyone to learn. Your fundamentals define how high you'll get. That makes so much sense. The stronger your foundation, the higher the building you can build. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
you basically look at any area in life and you see you are not progressing past your knowingness of the fundamentals. It's not only understanding, it's like you really, once the fundamental is in, you know the rest.
Right.
Once the fundamentals is in, all the rest you simply know. It's like it's a no question.
Right. Totally. I know it's kind of like what Bruce Lee was saying, where he says, I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that's practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Exactly the same.
It's the same principle. Yeah.
Same principle. You got the fundamentals. You use one kick for the fundamentals. It's so true. I'm doing, Gali, I'm doing dancing, and you'll see in dancing, you practice, you learn all kind of moves, blah blah blah, and you're okay. It's fine. You know a lot of moves, but then you realize you cannot really progress because you're missing the basics. The fundamentals are out, and then you go back after you train for 6 months or a year, many hours per week. You got the moves. Now you realize you have this glass ceiling that you will still be mediocre or less, and then you go back. If your teacher is good or if you are good, you go back to the fundamentals, and now you train your fundamentals and spend like I've spent one day on one basics. 3 lessons, each one 3 hours non-stop, 9 hours, just that one move, 9 hours, 19. It drives you crazy, but that built everything. It opened the door for anything after that. So the fundamentals is everything.
That's amazing. That's crazy, 9 hours. But that's the point. That's really, it makes so much sense. It does. Yeah. So just before we continue, Monica says power is in the base, which is exactly the point. That's very true. Yes. Margaret said aloha, and so exciting to be starting. And yes, perfect. So good. Let's talk about what fundamentals you need then, because let's just say very successful people. Who do we think of these days? Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whatever. Do they know these fundamentals? Do they make it by chance? I mean, where do these fundamentals fit in, and what fundamentals do you need?
Yeah. So the more of the fundamentals you have, the better your life will be.
Okay.
And when you look at each one of those people that you mentioned, while they have some areas of their life that are just amazing, some other areas they have problem with.
Yes, true.
In those areas that they have problem with, the fundamentals are out. So for example, if your fundamentals in terms of relationships are out, you will not have good relationship. If you are a woman and you think that in the relationship you need to play the role of a man, the relationship will not work with another man. Maybe with another woman, nothing wrong with that, but you need to pick up a woman. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
If you run a business and you think that you are a ship captain, it doesn't work. That's why many captains army guys that leave the army and go to business totally fail. They used to be, and I know actually one person that was the head of all the purchasing in the Israeli army. He was like a top captain, and he went to private life, and everything collapsed for him business-wise because he was surprised that he gives a command and they don't just do it because it's a command. He didn't understand the actual fundamentals of business. So you can say that when the fundamentals are out, you will play a game unknowingly you will play one game while you are in another game. So you play the game of being a ship captain while you are a husband, or you will play the game of an officer in the army while you are running a development team. It doesn't work.
Yes, I see. And that makes sense. It makes sense to me that it doesn't, you see somebody have success in one area, or even the average, let's just not take the most extreme, which is Jeff Bezos, but let's say the average millionaire that you look up to, but there's the rest of their life is in disarray. And so are they really successful? Is that success? I mean, you know what I mean? I would say no, because maybe in that area, maybe.
Yeah. So I have a very good example, and most of the people that know me knows that example. There's one guy that is a very good friend. I know him for maybe 6, 7, 8 years. He's a billionaire, a real billionaire. And I met with him many times, and quite at the beginning when we started, he told me, look, man, I'm willing to give you all the money in the universe if you fix my relationship with my kids. As much as money as you want, any amount of money, everything. Mm-hmm. So on the one hand, he had from the outside everything. He had everything you want, but not everything he wanted. Mm-hmm. For him, he didn't have anything, because these things that he had for him had no value. Because once you have something, it's not valuable.
Right.
Because if you really have it, cannot have value. The only thing that are valuable to you is what you don't have.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
The only thing that's valuable for you is what you don't have.
Yeah.
Anything that you have is not valuable anymore.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah. So once you realize that, you realize that actually, in order for you to improve and have more and more and more, what you need is your fundamentals in. And there are, you can say that there are a specific number of fundamentals, the bare minimum fundamentals that you need to have in life. And if you have those in, which means if you really know those, the rest of your life will be 100%. Of course, there's always a bypass on that, which is know what's the fundamentals of the spirit. Mm-hmm. But while it sounds very simple and yes, let's just learn what's the fundamental of the spirit, there is so much out fundamentals that you have in life that for you to accept the fundamental of the spiritual universe or the spirit, it makes you so wrong for billions of years that you agreed with the physical universe that it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible for most people. And I can count on one hand the people that I know that have the potential to bypass all the past agreements and simply say, it's nothing, and just go to being a spiritual being.
I see. So you're saying basically that if you were to just give people, you don't need to learn all the fundamentals of this, game that we're in right now. You just learn the spiritual laws. That would be a bypass. But doing that would be, it's like dropping a 10-ton cement block on you of knowledge that you can't even, it's the knowledge, what do you do with it, or what happens? I mean, if you were to just...
People just don't hear it. I've tried it. They don't hear it. Well, probably one of the things that most of the people say when they're hearing my seminars is they hear the seminar, and then the second time they hear it and they said, no, it was not the same seminar. You changed it. I said, no. The record. I did not change the recording. You have the recording. And the third time they think that I've changed it again, and the fourth time they think that I've changed it again, because you need to be ready to even assimilate what I say. And after you're able to assimilate it, after you'll be able to take it in, then you need to undo what you're holding. And only then you'll be able to entertain you simply knowing.
Yeah.
So basically, you can think about it that a person is holding, and he believes that he's holding something that if he will leave, he will fall. And I'm telling him, look, you need to leave one hand. And he said, no, I'm going to fall. And you said, no, just leave one hand. And you say, okay, fine, I'm willing to open a little bit. That's on the physical universe, yes? So you open one hand and he's holding something else, and he's trying to open another hand, but he's holding something else, always to this physical universe. What I tell you is, look, you are holding into an airplane. I'm asking you to let go without a parachute, and I promise you that if you will let go, everything will be okay. Most people will say no.
Right. Totally. It's yeah.
That's
It's
where
hard. It's hard enough to just let go one hand, let alone let go completely, let alone not with a parachute. And yeah, I'm with you. So
just take my word for it.
yeah, exactly. So what we did.
You think that in real life, that what I'm talking about is just an extreme example? No, actually, letting go of all the things that you agree to is something that for you is worse than letting go on an airplane.
Yeah.
Because many people jump from airplanes. Yes, with parachute, but they jump. But you will not jump even with a parachute.
Yes. Amazing. Yeah, that is very fascinating. I'm just trying to, like I'm thinking with it because I've seen it so much that it's difficult to do that. One of the examples that comes to mind is recently Mariah was doing a backup of her phone, and she said, I wish I could just delete all my old photos and just start fresh with this new phone. And it's like, it's impossible. I could never let go of all my photos of all my years of, and that's just 5 years of photos on that phone, to just like, let's start fresh with a different way of doing it. No way. Like, it's the photos. I got to hold on to that. And imagine, and that's basically, you take that to an extreme of life. Let go of all the photos. Everything will be okay. It's time to, you have a new phone here. iPhone 13.
Yeah, basically what I'm telling you, that in order for you to know, you must let go of any prior cause.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you agree to stuff, the more you are in the jail, the more limited you are. Every time you agreed with the prior cause, you actually going into a condition where you are limited. So every second when you see a wall and you say that's a wall, you're a little bit more limited. Everything you agree to, you actually being limited, because once I agree this is white, that's it, this is white, I'm limited to this is white. Once I agree that the world is round, that's it, I'm limited to this, the world is round and there is no other ways, it's round.
Yeah.
So the basic idea is that once you know the fundamentals, you will be able to let go of one hand. That's all. And then you will hold to, the only way for you to go is to hold for a higher level, and you will be able to go up. But you will not go up before letting go the first hand. And the fundamentals allow you to move, to let go of the first hand. That's all.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. That's super powerful.
Yeah.
So, okay, that is exactly what I wanted to kind of get into. So how do you let go of the first hand? I mean, I know we've put together, basically we looked at, first of all, you have a lot of students, right? A lot of people that go to your webinars and seminars. Many of them are learning advanced knowledge already. You would think, they're at the top, but there's also people that are totally new. And we said, okay, how do we put together a program that's for all levels, taking you to the fundamentals and filling in the gaps?
Yeah, you will see that the most advanced thing that I teach is the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds weird, but if you've been in any one of my advanced classes, What I teach, I take one definition and I teach it. And it sounds, what? That's all? Yes. If you've learned, I can tell you something like that. If you learn one fundamental 100%, you will know.
And by you will know, what do you mean? You will know.
It means that you got rid of both hands, and from now on, you have total potential. Whatever you will say will happen. You will recover your ability to bring something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you will really learn one thing fully, what does it mean learn? Learn, most of the people think that learn is a process of adding data. My definition of the word learn is a process of living fake realities. So if you will learn one thing, if you will let go of one fake reality fully without any residue, at that moment, you'll become you, and you will leave both hands. And you will know. And you will not only be able to fly, you'll be able to create the space in which you fly in.
I feel like what you're explaining now is that 10-ton cement block that I hear it, but I feel like I hear 1% of it. But I get what you mean. I mean, I get it, but I'm talking on behalf of the audience. What I'm assuming is like, you hear it, but I know how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes so deep that it's shallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how deep it is, because it's really so simple. It's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. Many times people ask me, so how do you know what's the definition of a word? And I have all kind of explanation. The definition of a word solve all the problems related to the word and so on. Yes.
Right.
But actually, what does it mean, the definition of the word solve all the problems related to the word? You become the creator. You simply know.
Mm-hmm.
You are not relying on prior cause. In the physical universe, what is the physical universe? The physical universe is a universe of limitations. It tells you, if you see that, there's a limitation. It was created by A, B, C, D, and based on A, B, C, D, I will tell you what is E, F, G.
Yes, correct.
So it's very limited. And when you agree to E, you're now even more limited. And when you agree to F, you are even more limited. And G, you are totally limited. And what's the ultimate limited? You die.
Totally. I think life is a series of the limitations, right? Now I'm a certain age, another limitation. Now I'm, no matter what you do, it's another limitation. I failed, it's another limitation. I just am not good at that, etc.
Yeah. And what I'm saying, that when you learning is a process of removing limitation, removing those prior agreements.
Yes.
The only thing that limits you is what you agree to. And since you are all beings are so ethical that once you agree to something, you're not letting go. You say, oh, I agree, I cannot break my word.
Yes.
And that's the problem, because you actually don't break your word, you recreate. And once someone put you into the idea that reality is agreement, you are dead, because reality and agreements are two different things. Reality is what you put there, and for other people to follow. Yes, for other people to what real for them. An agreement is what you agreed with other people. So reality is the causative flow, and agreement is the effect flow. Mm-hmm. So reality is the causative. You cause reality, you bring about reality for other people. An agreement, you agree with other people or things. You are an effect. Every agreement you ever made you an effect, because it's putting limitations. Agreements putting limitations. And most people, when you start to think that reality is what you agree to, even if you don't say it, you say, oh, this is white. You agree to it, it's white. You are limited. A child don't have that. A child don't have agreements. A child take a piece of broom and it's an airplane. It's the best airplane in the universe. And he goes into a room and the room is his. It's his room. and he goes to his friend and it's his room and he's doing everything, and the adult comes and say, no, 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 that's not your room, it's your friend's room and you have to respect it. No, you don't.
Right.
And until the adult don't come in and tell you this is his room and and before an adult told the other child that this is his room and blah blah blah, and they told another child that he went to another friend that he owned the room for the other friend, and it's totally okay because the room is not there. Before that, everything is fine.
That's amazing. I love that. It's 100%, and you see it all the time with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Reality and agreement, and I mean that is a slice of a fundamental piece of data that everybody. These are things that everybody gets wrong. Like everybody doesn't understand these nuances.
Yeah, it's always almost anything that you look around. People are just have missing fundamentals. People want to be right. The more you want to be right, the more you emphasize the wrong. The only way for you to be right is to make other people wrong. So if you try to be right and you make other people wrong, they will want to be right and they will make you wrong. So you're never going to win.
Right.
Yes. People say, well, you need to believe. You need to believe? No, you don't need to believe. Who believe? People that don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Who believe?
True.
If you don't, scientists don't believe in something. He knows something. Yes. Someone that a religious people, a real religious people, don't believe in God. They know there is God. They don't believe in God. They know there is God. You don't believe it's a day. You know it's a day. You don't believe it's your name. If someone asks you and you say, hey, what's your name? And you say, well, I don't know. I really believe it's Gal. And I pray every day to believe that my name. Nonsense.
Yeah.
There is not one area of life that is not wrong in terms of how people are looking at that, because the fundamental is out. And when I say wrong, I mean they have a limitation, and that limitation don't just not allow you to go up, it pushes you down. Most people think that your limitation is just not letting you improve. No, your limitation pushes you down because the universe expands, everything expands. And if you are limited, you are going down, but you don't noticing it. You are going down and you think that you are fine, that you're stable. No, you're not stable, you're going down.
That's amazing. I had never thought of it that way, that, everybody says, oh, I have a glass ceiling, and you think that's just the top that you can go, but the glass ceiling is a stable point. It's a constant. This doesn't move. It's my glass ceiling. But nobody thinks that the glass ceiling is constantly going down. I've never thought of it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So your glass ceiling is not just, it's not, as an example, 10 feet above you. It's 10 feet, then it's 9.9 feet. And as it goes down, every day you need to actually push it up, not the other way around.
If you did not grow today, you become smaller. Old people becoming smaller because they don't expand. I do all kind of things to increase the size of my body, not in terms of weight, but in terms of muscles and height and width. Why? Because if not, the body shrink and eventually dies. You will see that a young person, the cells multiply and multiply and grows and grows and grows. And an older person, the cell stop growing. They're growing in a smaller rate. It's not because the rate of the cell is smaller, is because in relationship to the overall expansion of the physical universe, they're smaller, because big and small, beautiful and ugly, fast and slow is always in relationship to something else. There's not big. It's big in relationship to someone else, small in relationship to someone else. And people think, well, I'm getting smaller, and they think that it's in relationship to them. No, it's in relationship to other things that expand. If everyone would get older at the same rate, no one actually getting older because everyone is at the same rate. But because you've got young people which expanding, and you look in relationship to the young, then you are only then, once you compare yourself to something else, only then you see that you're actually shrinking. And you'll see, you take a person and you tell him, did you notice how much you changed in the last year? And they didn't notice because they have nothing to compare to until they look at the picture, until they compare themselves to another person, until they realize, oh, 1 second, this looks different. It's in relationship to someone else. And you will see that the person become old and start to look old and tired and so on once they realize that in relationship to someone else, they are actually, they hit a glass ceiling. So even the idea of I have a glass ceiling is actually part of the missing fundamental, because if you just don't admit that you have a glass ceiling and you say, I'm improving, you will see that everything will be good. That's why success is the sum of all validated improvements. And most people, most of the time, validate failures. All the time, non-stop. They validate failures, they validate failures, they validate failures. That's the only thing they see.
Yeah, totally. I see that. I mean, everybody's validating what they validate, or we should say all they do is they invalidate themselves. They make less of themselves and less of everyone around them, and their radars for what's wrong as opposed to what's right. And it creates a huge, a shrinkage. And you have to do the opposite. You have to validate because things are growing.
Yeah, you have to validate. For you, there's no such thing as failure. You need to have the viewpoint of I never fail.
Yes.
Even if I fail, I didn't fail. Because fail in relationship to who? I'm improving. And because look, you take any failure in the history and all the failures, the combined failure in history, and you count it, numbers, and you'll take the combined improvement in history, the improvement will always be more. Why? The rate of growth of a body is faster. What you create, you more create. And the fact is, most people still making it to the age of 70, 80, 90, and they somehow survive. They don't end up starving. They don't end up, even if they're starving, they don't end up dying. Yes, they don't die. They still survive until they, so it means that overall, there is so much more good. But the media and your history and your agreements try to tell you that everything is a failure, everything is a limitation, everything is a limitation, everything is a failure. So you act as a failure, because if you buy into the idea that everything is a failure, you will act as a failure, and so you fail even more. But if you don't buy into that, and you will say, I'm a creator, and for me, there was no yesterday, there's definitely not tomorrow. There's only the game that I'm creating now. And now for me is the span of time that I'm creating. Now is not a specific moment. Now is the span of time that I'm creating. And if you have that viewpoint and you realize that the past is gone, the future will never come, because the future is always in the future. So the only thing that you have is what you're creating.
Wow, I think you're dropping huge bombs of knowledge, and I think everybody needs to hear this at least one more time, because I hear what you're saying, but I know that there's some people need to hear that again, because there's big truth in that. But it sounds like, oh, okay, yeah, it sounds like you just say it off the cuff, like it's simple, but there's a lot in that.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it is simple, but it is simple. But let's talk about the comments. I want to talk about the fundamentals, what we have lined up.
Okay.
And that's it, because we have a very nice and long live going. This has been amazing. So let's see what people are saying. Margaret said, yes, so true. Margaret said this phenomena is very observable to parents, especially when the second child comes along. Yeah, talking about growth, limitations, push down. Amazing. Poonam said, we have a Facebook user that said dropping bombs. Poonam said, wow. Poonam said, problem is adult, not children. And then Facebook user said, this is much more clear now. Great. And then I know there was a bit more, which I saw as we were talking, but I can't scroll and see it anymore at the moment.
Okay, so I can see. Let me bring it in. So I see Poonam says, yes. Facebook user, thank you. Problem is the adults, not the children. This is much more clear now. Wow, thank you, Mayor Ezra and Gal Ezra. This is Amit. Zev says, amazing. In Hebrew, madhim.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wow, amazing. You do change them. Yes, Monica says.
Yeah, change the slides.
Yeah, and Shaked say, great. Fundamental is everything, super powerful. That's amazing. Punamtish and Vijaya say hello, and Carmen says hi, and Monica, power is the best, and you saw the rest, I think.
Yes, amazing. Great. Pierre said amazing as always here in the private chat, by the way, that we have on our side. And let's talk about the 10 programs. So we realize that we have advanced, we have new people, and we needed to create a program that for no matter where you're at, we have this specific thing. The whole subject of today's live stream was around the fundamentals. So we said, okay, what's the solution? And we put together 10 programs. I can talk about it, of course, but go ahead and tell us.
Why don't you take the first one, just give the name and like the basics, and then I can give you a bit more data.
Yes, I think yes, I'll give you the first and second one, and then the next ones will break down into even further on the next live that we're doing, which will be on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll continue with another one, and we'll break down even further. But okay, basically, let's discuss the first one. It's called the Gold Mind. That's the first program. That's the name of it. And the Gold Mind we'll have a few different webinars to cover the subject, but it's the first fundamental. Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Okay, good. Okay, so you will see that most people say that your state of mind defined your results.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. But the question is, what defines your state of mind? Let's define your state of mind. How do you handle if the state of mind is so important, and since the mind is a physical thing, so it has a prior cause. Since the mind is a physical thing, it has a prior cause. Anything that is physical has a prior cause. Something created it. Then what do you do with this state of mind? Number one, how do you make sure?
Sorry to interrupt you, but just at that point, first of all, the mind is a physical thing. Understanding that, why is it physical? Because everybody thinks the mind is something that everyone thinks it's not physical. So we're going to explain and really understand what the mind is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Most people have a misunderstanding, and they think that the mind is the spirit, and the spirit is energy, and energy is the brain, and brain is something that you eat sometimes, and you hope that whatever. Is a total mishmash. Yes.
Yes.
So the first thing is to, of course, define. We need to define what it is. And then once we look at, okay, so if the mind is a physical thing and it affects you so much, how come you, the spirit, such a powerful thing, get affected by such negligible amount of energy? How come you, the spirit, such an amazing, powerful, unbelievable thing, gets so affected by negligible amount of energy? And when I'm saying negligible, it is negligible. The mind is measurable, and it's a negligible amount of energy. I'm talking about millivolts. It's like less than a smallest battery in the world, I think, or produced battery in the world. So how come it has so much effect on you?
It's amazing. Because the mind, the energy that it produces, right? Let's say it
doesn't produce energy. The energy that it is,
the energy that it is, right? And then discharges on you. Yes. So it's a fraction, let's say, of a AA battery, and you can hold a AA battery on both ends, and it's just a AA battery. But how come that energy everybody knows that the mind creates psychosomatic illnesses, right? Everybody knows that most people agree that the mind has some effect on your body, has some effect on your life. It has a big effect, but everybody agrees to some degree. But that's like saying the double A is doing all this.
Yeah, it's like you hear a bad news. Yes, someone says a word. It tells you your granny died or your wife died, and it has such an effect on your state of mind. It's like you all of a sudden go into a deep depression, and you lost the most important thing in your life, and you are ready to die. But the words themselves has no energy. If you measure the energy, is nothing, and the mind is the energy that it affects on the picture. You can measure it. It's negligible. How come you can get a heart attack from bad news? How come you can die from bad news? How come you go into these deep depressions? This is all the depression in the world, all the worries, all the pain, all of it is because the fundamentals of that area is missing.
That's amazing. Yeah, 100%. And nobody knows how to control it, let alone what it is, let alone why it affects you. And, people learn the fundamentals of physics. We know Newton's laws, but people don't know the fundamentals of the mind. They don't know why certain things affect them so much.
Yeah.
Why the mind?
Even if they think that they know, even if they study, and they think that they know, and they know the minds are pictures, seriously, let's have a look. Let's actually check. Okay, so why is it, if it's an energy and you can measure it, where is that energy? Where is the plus and the minus? How they come that it's discharged on you based on a specific thing and not on some other thing? Where is it? Yes, you can measure it on the body, but the mind is not the body.
Right.
So where is it part of the cells? Well, okay, good. So if I cut some of your cells, did I release you from your mind? Or is it running away? So if you really confront what you think you know, you will see that there is missing data. And before you will actually know it, not just understand it, don't be a robot to parrot something that someone else said. Before you become the source of that knowledge, of that knowingness, before you become the source, you are only a parrot, in a good case. And a parrot that deteriorates become a broken parrot, and when it deteriorates, it's just a total effect. So if you're not the source for the knowledge, even if then will be the knowledge that I teach you, or God teach you, or someone teach you, if you're not becoming the source of the knowledge, you know nothing. You're just a parrot repeating something that you've heard. Understanding is not knowing. If you cannot reinvent the knowledge, you're a parrot. If you cannot reinvent the knowledge and improve on it, create your own version, because the knowledge in this universe there is no such thing as truth in this universe. So before you really get that, there's no such thing as truth in this universe. There are only viewpoints. And in order for you to find the truth, you need to reinvent it, which means truth means something that don't have continuation. It's something that never happened, but it is. It's something that never happened, but it is.
Yeah.
So before you can go to that position, you're actually parroting. Before you can just know a definition of the word, before you just know an address in 70,000 pages book, just because you know.
What do you mean? A what? An address?
70,000 pages book, and they're full with addresses. And someone tell you what's the address in page number 69,171 in the third line. If you don't know it for no reason at all, without looking, you don't actually know.
Amazing. So you just need to know the subject.
Yeah, you are the source of it.
Yeah.
You're the source of it. You are not repeating it. Even if you've learned it from someone, what does it mean learning? Learning is removing the fake reality. What for? What's the purpose of learning? The purpose of learning is knowing. The purpose of learning is the ability to assume the position of source and cause. Source is mean I invented, cause I brought it back into the physical universe or any universe that you want. And that, what it means, knowing.
And I see you doing that all the time. I mean, if somebody asks you a question out of left field and you give the answer, pop, this is what it is. Address on page 69,001, you know, it's amazing. And so that is learning those fundamentals is just the first program out of 10 of the fundamentals program that we're creating. MeirEzra.com/fundamentals. You can go and just kind of read a little bit about it. And on Tuesday, we'll talk about the next program and what that's all about. The next program is called Making a Night. And what it sounds good, but what is it? And that we'll talk about on Tuesday. But for now, you can read about it. If you want more information also about the fundamentals, write to me or to Meir. We'll tell you and we'll get you on the program. But I mean, just what you talked about today, my doctor's orders are to rewatch this because you gave some major pieces of truth here.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really important. I don't know exactly how it happened, and it's not really important because it was just that creation of, if you really take what I say and make it your own. Not because I say, not because I'm important somehow. I'm not. Make it your own. Figure out how you can make it your own, how you can reinvent it.
Yeah.
How can you reinvent it? You will see that your life will change on the spot like that.
Yes.
You will just have no glass ceiling. You will see all the other glass ceilings, but not yours, because you will not have one. Not because you are an effect, but because you're cause. Because effect and cause is the same thing, just with the minus or plus, yes? And many people think, well, I don't see my glass ceiling. I don't have a glass ceiling because they don't look. That's a different thing. I don't have a glass ceiling because I create. Yes, it's nothing to look at because I always create. If I create all the time, there's nothing to look at, because if I'm painting, while I'm painting, there's nothing to look at because as I'm painting, everything changes. Creation is the kind of thing, as I'm painting, the picture changes all the time. And I'm painting in such a way that whatever I do, it's get deleted. And every stroke that I do is everything else recreated.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that that way of explaining it. That's creating, that's amazing. Because you're right. Every time you create or every time you paint, you actually delete what was. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. I love it. So the fundamentals, June 17th, Thursday, June 17th is when we start the program. You can join, but our next Facebook Live will be before then. It will be on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will talk more about the next program, Making a Night, what it will contain, and we'll have another very interesting subject just to discuss. Something, wow.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and tomorrow we're going to have the Parent Academy. Okay.
Amazing.
And I just had an idea that I will invite anyone that was today on the webinar, just as an idea, and because I think that I want to share something of fun and give you a present just for being here. Let me just copy that. So that's why I'm moving around. And I'm going to put in the chat a link, and this is a paid webinar. People pay a lot of money for it. And anyone that's been today on the webinar will be able to join totally for free this seminar tomorrow. It is
what a gift. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it is
11 a.m.
Eastern Standard Time. I've sent the link. It's usually a paid webinar. It's about family. It's the Family Academy. It's we're talking right now about the family. What is the family, etc. I will do a little bit of a recap so new people will get the idea of what it is. But I promise you, you'll learn things that will wow you. And you can invite anyone you want. You can take that link, and if he's someone that you like, you can invite. And I'm just opening it just as an idea that just came to my mind. So you can invite anyone.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's lucky. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Just thank you for that gift. Yeah, that's an amazing present. That's I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's great.
I didn't know either.
Creative.
Yeah, and if you're listening to that on Instagram or something like that, I will put the link in my
DM. They can DM you or link in the bio.
DM me, yes, DM me, and I will send it. Perfect.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. See you on Tuesday for the next live, and thank you very much.
Okay, and yes, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Love.